Hi, Linda Bauman here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today is just a quick share technique for using that designer series paper, all those little scraps that we save, and also coloring with our blending brushes. So let's go ahead and get started. I am, of course, using the Harvest Meadow Sweet, and I have taken the die and have cut out the cone flower, and I've used the cork specialty papers and cut out the, I guess, I don't know what those are called, grasses out of the cork. This specialty cork is so lightweight and great to use. I think it's going to be very good with masculine cards as well. I also took my dies from the Brilliant Wings and cut out 2 butterflies. So as you're cutting with your die cuts, make sure you save those little scraps so that you can cut out little embellishments like the butterflies. So my first technique that I want to share is, I think, something we don't think about, and that is stamping on our cardstock before we emboss. So I'm taking the thanks and I'm going to stamp that in the Early Espresso on the bottom of my soft, succulent cardstock. And I'm going to run it through my new embossing folder that I am in love with. This is the Time Worn Type 3 embossing folder. And I'm going to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And the cool thing is that it gives dimension to our stamped images. I just think it really pops it out. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of Very Vanilla. This measures 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to apply my emboss piece. Oops. Sometimes when you emboss, your Stampin' Seal Plus rolls up that embossed image. So best to adhere right on your main card base. Don't normally like to do that because I have a tendency to put more embossing than I need, and I see I cut this a little long, so actually this is 4 inches by 5.5, but it's going to work. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those different strips of designer series paper and just make a border. Now I'm sharing this technique because it was shared with me from a thank you card I received from a downline member, Sherm Langan from Hinckley, and I just loved the way she showed off the designer series paper on the card, just the little strips. I'll share her card tomorrow in a blog post, but we're just going to work those back and forth. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the ribbon. This ribbon is part of that Harvest Sweet. It is a diamond weave ribbon, and we're going to add that right to the bottom of my last strip of designer series paper. So it's just giving, I'm going to add some right to that ribbon. It's going to give me a little different texture there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cork. I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue to add those to my card. It's very thin. I could use the sticky paper when I die cut the cork, but I kind of like that if I don't put the sticky on it all over, just put glue, it kind of allows it to stick up in places and give more of a three-dimensional look. When you use the sticky paper, it glues it down completely, and I like the whimsical look with those weeds or stalks of branches. So you've got that. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper because I am going to color my cone flower in with my blending brushes. This allows me to give just a different tone on tone. So first I'm going to take my bumblebee and I'm just going to add some yellow. Then I'm going to add my orange, my Calypso Coral, and go in and add a little bit bolder than I wanted because I didn't stamp off. So let me see if I can just blend that out. Not exactly like I wanted it, but close enough. I'm going to grab my crumb cake and do the top of that cone flower. Nice swirly motion. I may go in and add some of that crumb cake down to the bottom. Yeah, I'm really not liking that, so let's go back in and grab some crumb cake and add to it. Yeah, kind of gives a nice texture. Now our blending brushes have been on back order. I have several more ordered, but they're supposed to come in this week. And one of the colors I don't have a blending brush for is a green, so I am just using my Soft Succulent Stamping Blends to color the bottom of that flower. So, liking the orange and the brown together, really can't tell that I did an oops. With this blending brushes, it's always best to tap off, and sometimes I forget to do that. So just a word to the wise. I like coloring with the blending brushes because you can see by this, it does not blend through like the Stampin' Blends do. So if you use the sponge blending brushes and color, you don't get that bleed through if that's important. So we've got this, gonna add that to my card. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and grab those cork butterflies. Again, this is a great thing to do when you're running the cork through, is to have a punch or a die that's small so that you can use every inch of that cork because it is so fun. Great texture for your cards. We're going to add another butterfly up there. And there you have it, a beautiful card using different layers with our Designer Series paper. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.